one more week. It's an unenviable position for David Teague, and I don't think anyone enjoys talking about people losing their job in football because everyone is clearly always trying their best. But this is a football club and a football team which has underperformed for a long time. And fair to say, Nathan Brown, they copped an absolute pantsing yesterday from a Port Adelaide team which we think can really strongly contend for the premiership. It was a bright start in Mark Murphy's game, and for that first 30 minutes you thought Carlton might be able to seriously challenge in this contest. But from thereafter, it was an almighty annihilation from Port Adelaide.
It was 19 goals in a row, which is pretty uncompetitive. Yeah, they did start well, so you got to wonder how it went so good to so poor in a short amount of time. Obviously, they've put a lot of emphasis on attacking and wanted to kick more goals than the opposition, but they've neglected to do anything defensively. And I think it's a shame because Carlton supporters, I think, deserve better. The spine that club has through the middle, it looks good on paper. The edges are okay. Yeah, they're probably another midfielder short, I think. They probably need another class midfielder. But there's so much to work with there, and it's frustrating. Yes, they've sacked a lot of coaches in the last 10 to 12 years. I think this is potentially the fourth one.
Yep.
So, I mean, do you make a change? I'm not sure. I can't see any way out of what they're going through at the moment. I think they need to make the change.
It was almost set up to fail for me. I made the comment about 3 weeks ago after they got smashed by North Melbourne, bottom team. I said if they respond, we'll know whether he's lost the players or not, whether they respond. They responded against St Kilda the week after. Since then, they have been really poor. It's not just David Teague's fault. Like I said, he was set up to fail. A lot of reasons why he sits where he sits. And I think they're recruiting. I think, paying halfback flankers the amount of money.
When you say he was set up to fail, can you extrapolate on that?
Well, he basically went into a club. He had no choice who was in and around him. He was a new coach. I just think there were a lot of things going against him. He's only been in the job for a short time. So whatever way you look at it, he's been hard done by to some degree, but clearly he's not getting the response from the players. I remember when Wayne Schimmelbusch, it was the last straw when Schimmer got the sack before Dennis Pagan took over our particular team. We went over to Adelaide and got absolutely smashed. I mean, I guess, and this is, I guess Schimmer, it was like we were just done. Do you know what I mean? And from that
but
time
that was
on,
pre-season.
that was just a pre-season.
Why
game.
were you done? That
It was just well
because you knew there was lack of clarity and direction.
I think there was
as a group.
all of that. And Schimmer did a great job in developing a lot of the young players. Just like when you look back on what Teague has already done with Sam Walsh and others, and Wiedering even, who I reckon's grown under Teague, and a couple of others. I reckon Jones has grown under Wiedering. So he has grown players, but as a whole, it's clearly falling down.
I think it comes back to alignment of the whole club and expectations that are set, particularly if you go back to the transition from Bolton to Teague, how it was done. But what was sold through the roof, the expectation that was sold, far exceeds what he took where they've got to.
Yeah.
Where they've got to.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, they're all like sold through the roof. We're going to be this, we're ready to pop, and boom, boom, boom. And then what happens, and the only thing I would say on the review, and there's an appetite for change, and I've been in that seat. I knew at Fremantle, unless I kept winning, there was that time where I said to my family, don't come to the footy, because I knew I was dead man walking.
How early? When did you know?
It was against Geelong when we had 8 or 9 out. You remember they went up to the Gold Coast, then come across, they spent a few days.
Why don't come to the footy?
Because this is going to be ugly here today.
Right.
But we actually beat them. We had 9 out or something. It was a really great victory.
Should have come to the footy.
Yeah, should have. They said, geez, he didn't want us there. But I knew as soon as we couldn't make finals, you can smell it, you can feel it. So it's not I got strong empathy.
I guess as a coach and as a playing group, you get a couple of opportunities. Obviously, it's win-loss, which what we see on a Friday or a Saturday or Sunday. The other opportunity I reckon you have in the modern sporting world, Jay-Z, is how you present yourself. So you present yourself as a coach, win-loss. That's obviously the ultimate. That's 80% of the caper. But the other probably 20% is how you present to the members and fans. You probably get 2 opportunities a week to do that. Mm-hmm. 1 at your weekly press conference and 2 at your post-game press conference. Always really difficult after a loss. As our man that goes to all these press conferences, gun coaches in press conferences, like Nathan Buckley, gun in a press conference. Then others not quite so good in that part of the caper. As far as presenting himself and where he's going, to the members and supporters, how do you reckon David Teague goes?
No, and it's always a bit flat, I'll be honest. And you always know when you walk out of these press conferences how much you learn from them, and sometimes how edgy they can be. And there's no doubt there's a sense of monotone and flatness to David Teague's press conferences that they don't leave you feeling particularly inspired.
Have you ever been scared of Teague?
I've been scared of Ross.
No, that's what I'm saying.
What about above Teague at the Carlton Football Club?
Yep.
I mean, there's been a lot of
board.
changes at board level. There's an incoming president who has been there for a long time. So he has been on the board, I believe, for 9 years. So he has seen all those 3 or 4 coaches come and go.
Yeah.
So there doesn't seem like there's a lot of change at that area of Carlton.
And why isn't that? Because I think the Carlton board have escaped a lot of accountability on this issue, and Damien Barrett put it on the table throughout the week. I'm not sure why they are spared as much, because yes, we often talk about the football manager and the senior coach, etc., but there should be complete change on that board for mine, because they are responsible for a lot of these decisions that has left Carlton in this decade of doom, to be honest. So that I think is going to be an increasing story.
And back in the 80s and early 90s, that was an envied position to be on the Carlton board because they got things done, yes?
Yep.
Well,
And
they're still a powerful club.
Well, they should
and
be.
network and powerful
Yep.
business people. And I think commercially, to Mark Ledudice's credit,
Yep.
they've turned that place around commercially and debt-wise and are through the roof commercially. The last bastion for them is their football, and they did commit to Bolton and the rebuild. So, and with David Teague, it's how many years is it on a rebuild? Is it 6 or 7 where they turfed it all out and started? I think it's about 6 years.
Still sitting 3rd or 4th on the membership, Carlton. Like, huge membership this year.
And you'd have to wonder whether they've got the commercial backing then to try and make Alistair Clarkson the richest man in football with a huge Godfather offer. That we know that's position 1A for them. No disrespect to you, Ross, but
I've said that. I put that on the table. Like,
he would be there.
They should be at his door now down in Brighton.
Can you make the Godfather offer?
So we'll shift you to Toorak.
All the soft cap and stuff now, like.
Yeah, I think you can.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I think you can. And I think Gold Coast will be looking to do the same. Do you want to have a listen to David
Yeah, I'd
Teague
love
and his take on yesterday's 95-point loss to Port Adelaide?
Oh, look, it doesn't help. I understand that. In terms of the pattern of behaviour, that's our first really big loss. Timing's not great, but in terms of where we've been and the way the guys approached it at the start, I thought we cracked in. I thought our pressure and our ball use, and we used it well early. So, yeah, look, it may not help, but again, I think it was one game. I think over the year, we've been pretty competitive, but we've got some growth, and that's where we're at the moment.
Does this feel like your worst loss, David, in charge of the club?
It does. Probably the margin. There's probably some other games that have frustrated me more than this game. I thought there was periods there we just had to kick our goals, and it might have changed the momentum a little bit. And some of those misses probably took my energy and momentum out of us.
You still believe you're the right person to turn it around?
Absolutely.
Can that happen quickly, or is it still a bit of a process?
Oh, we've got to work hard. We've got some areas to get better at, but. No, I think we're getting some games into guys. I think the talent, and you look at who's driving us at the moment in terms of throughout this year with Harry, Jacob, Sam Walsh. You add a Josh Honey or a Corey Durden that just.
So they're 3 potential All-Australians: Jacob Wiedering, Harry Mackay, and Sam Walsh. You think they potentially add Adam Chera from Fremantle to help bolster that midfield mix, which is a little bit lacking. I think the upside for Carlton is really good. They just need some more organisation, some more cohesion in that back half, and some more consistent effort.
Gee, it's a hot job though, isn't it? Like AFL coaching. He employed, got a contract for next year. The review's out, but the media scrutiny and the fan scrutiny, it is a really hot seat,
I
isn't it?
like few places in the world, Ross. A Victorian coach under pressure, the media spotlight that goes in. We've got. You go to an NFL game. There's not 5 different radio coverages covering the one game. The
It's a big club,
spotlight
isn't it?
is
There's not? Yeah,
extraordinary.
no.
It's a big club,
absolutely
Carlton.
not.
When you compare that to Gold Coast, who are probably just as inconsistent over the last. Nobody's speaking about Stewie Dew at the moment. Everybody's speaking about David Teague.